I mean, look at this guy. Clearly, he doesn't have freedom of speech. Right? Kanye West and Jews, Kevin Hart and gays, Andrew Tate and misogyny, Sneeko and the R word. All these people have been destroyed with the great yet toxic power of cancel culture. Their reputations have been tattered by the comments. Their kingships have been stolen. They have been forced to apologize and not only adapt a new belief, but hate themselves for having a past belief. In Western society, we constantly desire fame, status, and the prestige of being known. Little do we know that with great power comes great responsibility. Or is that just a cliche thing we say when we observe those at the top? I believe that's saying to be true, especially for those who are worshipped. A famous individual has to be prepared to carry themselves with high standard, high esteem, high morals, high mindset. You can't just speak your mind without preparing yourself for the consequences. Now, is that morally right? Is it moral to hold celebrities at a higher standard than the mere common? Is it moral to compare them to the average Joe in terms of morality? Is it moral to even think celebrities are somehow more than us mere mortals? Yeah, sure, they've achieved more in some aspects of their life, and sure, they may even be an inspiration to those who seek. And of course, they may have been born into a family of fame. However, and for the most part, our modern day celebrities were once people. Once they were born, they had two options. They were either quickly known because their family already had fame, or they found something later on in life that made them acquire that fame. My point is, celebrities are people too. Therefore, it's not fair to judge them outside of that. However, the obvious counter-argument would be that since celebrities have a high level of influence and can therefore change the actions of the common people negatively, they should be held at a very high standard. We must uphold them to a higher standard. We must be their regulators. Now, it's obvious that famous people don't have freedom of speech. I'm not here today to fight for the expression of speech. I'm simply satisfied that you now know the consequences of being famous. You know what would happen if you were to go against the mob. You know what's at stake. If we don't have freedom of speech, do we even know who we are? Are we just continuing to put on a facade without finding out who the person is behind that mask? Are we even valuable? Aristotle once said, freedom depends on people's ability to communicate freely and effectively. Therefore, are we even free without freedom of speech? Are we? The answer to all those questions is, I don't know. Though I do tend to agree with Aristotle. An individual, through civil discourse, can create freedom. Then there is the obvious question of if we should be allowed to say anything. People often say, you can say anything, just not hate speech. What does that even mean? What is categorized as hate speech? I searched it up. According to Merriam-Webster, abusive or threatening speech or writing that expresses prejudice on the basis of ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, or similar grounds. Then, can't really anything, any disagreement be hate speech? Of course, there are extremes to every issue, but if you think about it, if everything is a disagreement, that could be seen as threatening or abusive speech towards an opposing group. Then what is politics even? Isn't every political opposing group trying to spread more hate speech than the other, trying to convince the masses to join theirs by spreading more hate speech towards the other? Now, I'm simply playing devil's advocate. I'm not defending some person calling me a jigger for no reason. I personally don't believe in freedom of speech. I believe in freedom to speak the truth. There's a big difference. Speaking the truth implies doing the necessary. Of course, I don't like spewing hate on others, but honestly, we shouldn't have to create legislation to stop hate speech. Of course you're triggered. Of course you disagree. Well, it's my opinion, so don't get hurt. Well, at least we know one thing. You should check out this video next. And as usual, everybody, Stay strong.